If John had lived, this would be part of his mission.
You can do all this research you want to in the lab, but you've got to take responsibility for getting it out there so that doctors start applying it in medicine. And that's why I'm involved in the John Ritter Foundation.
I knew something terrible had happened. I didn't know exactly what it was. Basically, they checked me out for everything that would be associated with a stroke and realized it wasn't a stroke. I had no idea that your aorta could dissect. I don't think I had said aorta since biology class.
People die all the time from this. Young people, old people, men, women. Sadly, this kind of event does not discriminate.
When I came out of surgery, the surgeon looked at my brother and said, "You're next."
If you look at everybody who comes in with an aortic dissection, 1 in 5 will have a family history.
We don't know what the name of the gene is. We know it's a thing.
But just knowing it's running in the family, you can image for those asymptomatic aneurysms, monitor them, and go in and repair them before the dissection occurs.
Doing research and education specifically to those physicians on the front line in the emergency room so that when they see someone like this, at least aortic dissection pops into their mind as a possibility.
The Ritter rules are life-saving guidelines named in honor of John. Be an advocate for aortic health. Know the Ritter rules.
Knowledge is extremely important about this, and that's why we are saying for sure Ritter rules.
The John Ritter family let us use their name for a research program, so it's known as the John Ritter Research Program. That brings a certain amount of, a spotlight on what we're doing and really makes the patients comfortable in terms of participating in our research.
The sciences and the medical community that have teamed up with us and that provide for us and we provide for them information so important, because everyone suffers when someone is lost to something preventable.
It's not rare. People need to know that it's a real thing.
You may know in your lifetime, at some point, I'm going to have open chest surgery, unless it's way in the future and they figure out how to do it without opening your chest, and I need to have this repair or this replaced. But it's not a death sentence. It's hope. It's absolute hope.
Amy Yasbeck, everyone!
Round 2, ding ding.
I thought this is nicer. It's nicer to be closer.
Whatevs.
Close to you. I did bring a few things today before we start our Q&A.
Props?
Little few things. And,
I'm worried.
Let's see. Well,
Are they alive? I don't like live.
I bought this book.
I wrote a book
Amy wrote a book.
a long time ago with Love and Laughter, which is how John used to sign all of his celebrity. I'm looking for you to help me. That's so funny. 8x10s. Wow. Transference.
Yeah. Beautiful book.
And that's when I wrote the in 2009, I got the book deal, and they're like, we're going to introduce you to some ghostwriters. I'm like, oh, no, I want to write it. They're like, yeah. And I went, let me just write a chapter and see what you think. And I wrote a chapter, they're like, oh. And it's like, oh, maybe I'm a writer. I want whatever editor you have to keep me, to tell me what's, because I just would write and write to see what goes where, and then I'd write like a whole thing, and she would call me from New York, Trish Buskowski, and she would call me and go, I loved it, it's not for this book, save it for something else. And so I have several books in me right now. You can probably tell by the way I'm sitting. Just kidding. I don't know, I'm saying stuff. But that's when I was diagnosed finally with ADHD. Finally, and other people in my life had been diagnosed, and I helped them get medicine for it and everything. But for me, I was like, no, I'm just lazy. You don't know me. Which is something that everybody does to themselves in some way. And so, and I didn't take any medicine for it, definitely not. And then when I started this book, it's hard to find, I mean, right, it wasn't writer's block. It was getting to a place and sitting, and it's writer's lock. I had to like just unlock something. And for me, it was something really, really important that did not exist when I was in grade school, which was voice, blah, blah. We called it was Dragon Speak was the name of the thing that he put.
Dragon Naturally Speaking.
Dragon Naturally Speaking. Helpful for so many people.
Yep.
And I loved that you could train it so even if you had a different kind of voice that wasn't like the whatever standard and blah 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 blah, but you had a different way of speaking, you could train it like this is what this word means when it's typed out. I'm like, this could change for everybody can use this, and I loved it. And then it started being on a lot of different, I can't get my word to do it right now. Oh, my word. But it was really helpful for me for writing. And because I'm not very good at sitting in a chair. I am right now because this is called my seatbelt. I've locked myself in. So
Do you meditate, do yoga?
No, shit. But, I mean, no, something about my chakras. My chakra covered biscotti. What? And we're back.
Oh, we're
Chakra
back.
covered. I hope somebody's writing this down, which is what John used to always say to me. He's like, why aren't you writing this down? And I did. But for me to be able to put my little Janet Jackson, boop, boop, remember that thing? My Janet Jackson In Control headset on, and I would lay on the floor because it helps me to be on the ground and just talk into it. And it was fun because the program would write what I said, and then I would just go back and edit it. I am good at punching things up, being an editor, straightening people's ties, doing that kind of stuff, but when confronted with a blank page or the first moment of a project, I don't have the kind of brain where I can meter it out or I think of it kind of all at once, and then I know when I start it, even if it's like a little craft or art project or something, I'm like, I'm gonna be up all night. I don't, you know what I mean? I can't, So with this book, I had to learn how to do that, and I needed a little help. First, Adderall. And because my brother, who was diagnosed in his 50s, had gotten on it, and my nephew, who at that time was in Iraq with the 101st, was diagnosed, and he was on it. And so, they sometimes, however you're set up genetically or whatever, maybe one thing works better than you. I wrote, but I also kind of gossiped and started shopping a lot, and I was starting to grind my teeth. I'm like, maybe this isn't the one. But then very small doses of Ritalin seemed to be the thing, and it calmed me, which is how you kind of know it's the right thing for you, because if the person who doesn't have ADHD, it would kind of hype you up. But it helped me, but I still did this thing that I do to this day. I'll have an idea, I'll write, and then I'll go, what should I name it? What should this file be called? Oh, you know what's clever? Oh my God, nobody's ever said that sentence before in the history of the world. Type it in, and it'll just be, did you mean da-da-da? And I'm like, what? And I would have already kind of done the same thing, written the thing, and even named it the same thing. And I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is, but whatever, that's another thing that I have to contend with. And it's not exactly repeating myself, but it's like if I know I need to buy milk, I put that in my head and it's living there, and then I'll wake up and I'm like, right, I need to, and open that, it's like, oh, I bought milk yesterday. So it's hard for me to actually check things off of my checklist. Yeah, it's kind of, so it was tricky, but I love this book very much. Some of the people have changed, some of the names have changed. I don't push it so much anymore because I am gonna
Write a new one.
Sure, I'll write a new one.
You'll write
Okay,
bunch.
I'll write a book about you guys.
Oh, and talk about you guys. We have Q&A time. Question.
Anybody have a
anyone?
Q?
Yes, and please say your name and your question out loud.
Hi,
I'm Natalie.
I had a lot of questions, but
Give me one. Give me your top one.
I was like, I'm gonna give her my top one. Because of my disability, if I can't, accomplish what I want to do in the industry, I still want to meet my heroes and the people that kept me distracted and kept me sane when I was going through my own medical issues growing up. And one of them was Jim Carrey, and I know you worked with him in The Mask, and so I just want to know what he's like.
Jim Carrey is all that you would want him to be. And I got the honor of introducing him to John, which was just amazing. Because they were, John was like, I'm your biggest fan. He's like, wait, I'm trying to be you. And John's like, well, I was trying to be Jerry Lewis. But and he's like, I love Jerry Lewis. So that kind of camaraderie. You are right to love Jim Carrey. He's a very sweet guy. I haven't seen him like in person in several years. But I know him through my friend Holly Robinson Peete.
Yes.
And like Robin Williams too. That kind of that comes from somewhere, and it's like, is ebullient the word, where it's like it just boils out of him like it did with John, and you can see it. So it's humor, and some of it's a little like, okay, that's problematic or whatever. They know like different characters and stuff that they would all do, but it's like, it's from love. And it's from observing humanity, even if it's like the wildest character, you're like, that's not even how people talk or stand or look. And it's like, yeah, it's somehow he took a little bit from everybody. I'm glad that you like Jim Carrey. Yeah, he's great. Yeah. Call me.
Yeah,
just kidding.
Question,
Natalie.
yes, second row there.
Hi, what's your name?
Larissa.
Larissa.
Can I ask a two-part question?
I'm going to say yes, but I'm not the boss.
When you were doing the show.
Which one?
8 Simple Rules.
And when John was doing 8 Simple Rules, yeah.
Were you guys shocked when you guys got canceled?
Well, the thing is that, so John was on 8 Simple Rules, and that very first year of it, they won, I'll tell you a funny story, they won People's Choice Best New Comedy. But that night, who was I telling this story to? I forget. Colin Hanks, who's Tom Hanks' son. That night of the People's Choice, My Big Fat Greek Wedding was winning everything. So Rita Wilson and Nia Vardalos and Tom Hanks had produced that. And they kept getting up and down from the stage, because they do the movies first, because movies. And I shouldn't say that. Please hire me for a movie. And so they kept getting up and down, and people were like, what, again? And so then when they announced 8 Simple Rules, John got up, and he gave me a kiss on the cheek, and then he walked up the aisle to where Tom was and leaned over and went, eat shit, Tom, and got up on stage. It was fantastic. But so they won that first year, and then the second year, it started filming in the end of August, beginning of September, and John passed away on the 3rd episode, during when he was filming that. So then, who came in? James Garner, and then Adam Arkin. Look at me with all the names. Somebody's out there riddling and gobbling. And David Spade came in, and I would like to say that I watched it. I've seen clips from it. I cannot watch the episode where the dad dies on the episode. Yeah. Michael Eisner, again, good job. And I don't know why it got canceled, but I think a lot of people associated it as being John's show. But also, all of the actors in it were terrific and are all still really good friends of mine. The kid that played Rory, the boy, was that his name, Rory? What was his name in it? Yeah. Rory. Martin Spangers is producing now, and he produced a little short film that I just did called Fireflies in the Dusk. Again, ends violently. But it's funny up until then. And it won Best Comedy at San Diego Comic-Con. We were just there.
Oh, yeah. How was that Comic-Con?
It's all, Comic-Con is where I live. It's where the comic, I've only been to that real one, the big one. I took the train down. First of all, I love the train. You guys go on the train?
Oh, I love the train.
I've lived here for 40 freaking years, yes. And I had never been on that surf rider,
Right.
Surf City USA.
Great.
Part of some people with neurodivergent ways of thinking have like a song that they put on repeat that helps keep them like this or whatever. Being on the train and like I can move around, so it's not like an airplane where I feel like every time I get up they're like, "Well, she's got a gun!" or whatever. Sorry, it's a Lebanese thing. This is joke, horrible. But it's like the fact that you can move around on the train and walk around, but also you're kind of stuck in one spot. It helps me concentrate. When my son Noah went to school in Arlington, Virginia, and I used to take the Acela, which is the train from like around there, or like in Baltimore to New York, and I would get so much done because there's not a lot of distractions. Don't get on TikTok. I mean, get off of TikTok. Not everybody, just me for 5 frickin' minutes a day, and get stuff done. Do you know what I mean? And so I loved going to Comic-Con and coming back as much as I loved being there. Whoever is at Comic-Con, you are my favorite people in the world. When I do like signing shows all over the country, which I do, I see people sometimes, I don't know what they're dressed as, and I'm like, and so I ask them, and then they tell me, and then I look it up, and then that's my new favorite thing. I'm like, stand here, I don't care if the line is long, I make everybody circle around like this, and I'm like, let's hear what this guy has to say. So I like meeting the people as much as they, dig meeting me. I love it. Is that the second part of your question?
Yeah.
Did you guys always get along?
Who, John and me?
The cast.
Well, I wasn't on 8 Simple Rules. I was just in the dressing room providing support.
Would you watch it backstage?
I watch it, yeah. It was a great show.
Do you think they got along?
They all got along great. That I definitely know, yes. If they didn't, I would have whipped their ass.
We're gonna. I want to go over here, then I want to go over here. We've got 20 more minutes, but I wanted to get a woman who flew here to just see you. From where did you fly from?
Oregon.
Oregon, and you got in today.
Yeah.
Miss Alice Deal.
LAX or Burbank?
LAX.
Oh my God.
I literally just got like by the skin of my teeth.
Wow, that's a crazy expression. I love that expression. Don't make me go look that up because that's all I'll be doing.
Yeah.
Because teeth don't have skin. Am I right? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to see me. Let's make 1,000 pictures together.
Yes. So when I was 16 years old,
Go.
I remember when John passed, and I remember watching this E.T. special that they did on him. They talked about his brother Tom, how he had CP, and I had CP as well. And I thought, wow, what a cool guy. He's freaking hilarious, just like me.
Exactly.
And I want to say a week after that, I got given a scholarship in John's name. And I used that money to fix my smile, so now I have a Ritter smile.
You have a very Ritter smile. You do, and it is a specific thing.
Yeah, and so
that makes me happy.
Because of that, I got to go to Los Angeles and live here for 18 years. This month I'm going to be considered to be Miss Wheelchair America. So
yeah, she was.
Yeah, so
Miss America.
I just want to tell you, I grew up to be a really good liar.
That's what John used to say, yeah. That the acting is like, I get to lie every day for a pretty honest and pretty honest.
I just wanted to let you know that a piece of his legacy is here today, and I love to help people. I love to make people laugh. I love looking hot.
You're doing it right now. I can feel the steam. It's steaming up my glasses.
I know. I mean, for God's sake. So I just
could be the humidity, but let's just let her think.
I just want you to know that, like,
you got all of it. You understood it, and as they say, you overstand it. You don't just understand it. You knew exactly what John was putting out there, You got it into your brain and your body and your smile. And I wish I could tell him that, but I think he knows.
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows. And the crazy part was the beginning of this year. Actually, a year this month, my wife decided to go pet sitting and never came back. And it was, my whole world like flipped upside down.
A mystery or died?
No, they just left.
People are freaking weird.
Yeah,
I
so
know.
they just left. And I had never watched 8 Simple Rules because it hurt me. I felt like I knew that if I had known you and John, that we would have been friends.
Right,
I always
exactly.
felt like that was something missing, you know? So I never watched 8 Simple Rules because it made me too sad.
Yeah, I get it.
But right when my wife left is when I was like, I'm gonna watch 8 Simple Rules now. And I was so comforted because Paul his character is so much like my dad, and
Really?
my parents took charge of me when all that went down, and I just felt this overwhelming sense of comfort. But I want you to know that you're not going to be rid of me. I think I'm supposed to make you feel better.
Oh, you make me feel better already.
And Noah,
you.
you're a beautiful mother to Noah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Maybe I should fly to you.
Yeah.
Okay, where in Oregon do you live? Don't
Grants
say your
Pass.
address. What?
Grants Pass.
Okay, I'll do. Grants Pass. Named after actual Grant? Ulysses S., you think?
Yeah. No, we used to be a sundown town, so now my whole platform with Miss Wheelchair America is to provide hope and safe spaces for our most vulnerable communities, particularly the unhoused, because Grants Pass is that place that made homelessness illegal.
Oh my God, I'm gonna learn all about that. Rabbit hole!
Rabbit hole, yeah.
Thank you so much for everything, for the sentiment and for your time and travel. And I will definitely tell the kids about you. We'll find you.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be outside your house like.
Well, let's not say that because I have a BB gun. No, I don't. I don't know anything. Okay, honey, that makes me so happy.
I'll have you pick somebody maybe.
Kim?
Oh, Ken?
My name is Ken.
Ken.
Besides being artist, when I was in the art school, I took a lot of writing classes in order to graduate. But my professor tendency to fail my writing because they thought my writing was crap. So even though I took all English 1B, 1C, everything, some of my friends are telling me you need to improve your writing skills. So saying you are, besides being actor, you're a writer, how would you suggest me? I'm a painter.
First of all, F those teachers that they told you your writing was crap.
Yeah.
Say your teaching is crap. If you spent enough time to know me, you will be able to look at my writing and interpret what I'm trying to say and give me the tools, or at least help me unlock the tools that I already have to make it happen for me. So I'm sorry, let me tell you a quick thing, and you're an artist. I'm an artist. It's so weird. I don't even like to say I'm an actress. It's like I'm just like a person who likes to show off, I guess. But John, when he was in kindergarten, John was a brilliant guy, but he was behind the curve a lot at school because he would go with his dad, Tex Ritter, and his mom and Tommy, and they would go for the summer and travel around to all the little fairs because Tex Ritter was a singer. And so John spent a lot of times, sometimes it would be nightclubs and he and Tommy would fall asleep with like a tablecloth on them, and sometimes it's so cute, I know. Sometimes I'd like, show me the tablecloth trick. Just kidding. And sometimes it'd be like, if you ever saw Coal Miner's Daughter, it would be like somebody just strings Christmas lights on the back of a truck and stuff. And sometimes it would be in Las Vegas on a big stage and stuff. But they were on Tex's schedule. So when John got to first grade, he couldn't read. And he had a speech impediment with his R's, which is tricky. So he was Jonathan Whittle. And people would tease him, which we all know what that is like on some level. And he hadn't quite figured out be funny yet, so he kind of took it all in, and he really believed like what his teachers would say about him. And they had the whatever class, and then they called the slower learning disabilities, whatever class. It was called the yellow class because it was like a door that was yellow. We never had one yellow thing in our house. It just triggered him. He didn't like it. And he took an art class, just like all little kindergartners do. And they all did pictures. They did whatever you want about what was your summer. Do a picture of your summer. And they didn't have their names on the pictures. And so then the teacher would hold up, and who do we think did this one? And the kids would try to guess. You never do that. Never leave it open for little asshole kindergarten people to say stuff. You know what I mean? Give them rules first. But anyway, so, it was like a roller coaster and a sunflower, all this stuff. And then like around the middle, teacher held up this picture, and it was black with a line on it and brown, and then one string coming down and a yellow light. And it was like, who did this one? And what is it? And all the kids were like laughing, like, and it was John's, and it was a stage. It was a dark stage waiting for his dad to come on with the light that you hang, because she didn't know which way to hold it, and it's like that crunchy, crappy paper that, the finger painting, tempera, just horrible. So it was texturally bad and everything else. And finally, when all the kids had figured out who did, they knew that it was John that had painted that. And she'd say, well, you're no artist. And that stuck with him. And he would draw like little funny Kilroy type pictures, if you know what that is, in his script and stuff, but he always felt very uncomfortable around art and artists. And so I would force him, even to paint Easter eggs. Yeah. He was like, I don't like it, and I'm too messy. And I'm like, you're great. And I got one of those clear crayons. We did a resist. Yeah. So he was able to do his little drawings that he was comfortable doing, and then dip the whole egg, and his drawing would pop out because it resisted it. Right. And he's like, I didn't know this was a thing. So teachers sometimes can be a hindrance. You are a writer. You write through your art. Yeah. You don't have to become a better writer. Just be you. Yeah. Do you think are you saying that it might be some kind of language barrier?
Because of this, my friend thought this way because English is my second language. I grew up with it, right?
What is your native language? Burmese. Right. Write in Burmese and then translate.
It's more difficult than English for me, right? I'm more easier in English.
Really?
Yeah, right.
Is that right?
I've been here over 30 years, right?
And you're having an art show soon, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we're all going.
We're all going to go.
Where's your art show?
In the Residential Hospital, the rehab in downtown.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
I sent it to David and Megan.
We're gonna
put that on blast.
We're gonna put that on blast. We have time for 2 more questions.
Don't give up, and if you're doing poetry, don't rhyme. For the love of God, don't rhyme.
One thing I do want to say before the last 2, and again, she's staying here for lunch, so we could chat, we could eat lunch together and all that after this. But one thing I want to say, Jerry Jules sends her love.
Love me some Jerry.
Oh,
oh my God, she's the best.
She and I remember seeing her on the shows with John on the
United Cerebral Palsy telethon. Yeah, that John did for years and years.
Beautiful. So she wanted to be here. Also, we'll have one thing I do want to mention, then we'll get to those 2.
Pull yourself together. You're all over those boards.
I am. Problem Child.
Yay.
Robin Hood. Yay. Men in Tights.
I need a coaster.
Oh, L'Chaim.
You with the L'Chaim.
I'm into that today. Dracula, Dead and Loving It. These 3, we're gonna, during lunch, we'll get little numbers, and we'll auction them off.
We're not gonna auction them. You're going to.
Yeah, not auction. We're gonna raffle.
I couldn't think of the word, so I stopped.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think, and what I what I was picturing was potato chips because of Ruffles. Ruffles have ridges. Because that's how I do it. Usually I'm quicker than that, but Ritalin is wearing off in this coffee.
But you know what, and you know, back to the heart thing, just for a second.
Heart thing or aorta thing? You're part of the problem. Go ahead. Oh, your heart?
My heart.
Oh, yes, go.
So that's the, okay. Ever since that, I feel like a few brain cells have been going boop, beep.
Since this latest one?
No, from the original one.
Did you do surgery? Did you go under? Did you have?
I got a stent.
Yeah, but so when they did you, were you? I was gonna say euthanized. Were you euthanized? Were you? They put you under and did a thing. So you might have a little pump brain. What it's called that.
So that's
You'll
why,
be fine. It
you
only
know,
makes you stop it. You don't have to. Where do you feel more comfortable? You can't find your words. You get lost when you're talking. You're with me. You're okay. Help him. Somebody help him.
You're out. You're helping me. Yes.
Okay, my name is Dresden. What's your favorite book and what's your favorite movie you like to watch?
My favorite. Okay, this is gonna sound real. Oh, this is, I
Stop
don't.
it.
There's no
The origin of consciousness in the origin of the bicameral mind. I don't know what it is. It's about God or not God. It's so stupid. I'm just being so. I like books about science, and I like books about history. And Sarah Vowell, who was on NPR and wrote these amazing books called Who Moved My Cannoli, the Assassination Vacation. So she talks about history and she goes to places, but she's a wonderful humorist, and I like anything where I'm learning something and being entertained at the same time. Favorite movie that I was in or that I watched? She said, what?
What were you in the favorite movie?
That would be Problem Child because John and I got it on. Fell in love. But I love Little Big Man. I love Coal Miner's Daughter, which I can't stop but always talk about. And I don't know, I'm sure there's more movies than that I like, but I can't think of any because I like them all. It's like being at 31 Flavors. I'm like, I don't know, hit me.
I was a Problem Child too.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I'm Denzel.
Hi, Denzel.
Real quick, I wanted to ask you about that. How did you probably have a lot of good stories of the roles you booked, but how did you get the role on Problem Child?
Problem Child? There is an actor and a director. He was an actor. He was on Moonlighting and on, not Maverick, what was the show, James Garner's show? You got this.
Rockford Files.
Thank you. Rockford Files. His name is Dennis Dugan, and he was the director of it. And I had met him about a year before that on the set of Sunny Spoon. If you know, you know. I wasn't on it. I was visiting a friend of mine, and I sat at lunch with him. It was night shoot, so lunch was, who's been on a night shoot? Lord. So, it was in the middle of the night. And he said, what's your name again? And he wrote it down and he put it in his pocket on a napkin. And he told me this, that he thought, if I ever need whatever, I'm going to call this lady. And I did it. And he liked me. So Dennis Dugan cast me.
Wow.
It was great.
Will we have time for one more? Xander?
Hi, I'm Xander.
Hi, Xander. I dig your sweater. Let me see.
Thank you.
Is it a sweater or a
Polka
shirt?
dots and flowers.
Okay, I'm going to need to take that.
I'm wondering your on-set process for getting focused, like being around your fellow cast and crew, like doing what you love. Like, do you lock in, or is there things that you do to get centered?
Good question. Do I get? I lock in when I see other people locking in. If somebody's goofing off, I will goof off with them, and then Dennis Dugan was like, "Come here." No. John can goof around in between scenes. He's been doing this forever. You need to pull it together, because when I say, okay, everybody come to the set, and you're like, still, I see it in your eyes, you're still like talking to John. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I can fake that. But the other thing that is hard for me, just like you saw when I was interrupting your communication and I'm talking about the lights and the things and the tie, is that when I'm on a production, I think like, not in a fancy way, I don't think like a line producer, I can't do math, but I mean, I notice everything, and those are people's departments and unions. And so when I'm doing the independent movies, which are a little bit more lax, I've said in these last ones, I said, look, because I've been working with sometimes people who are like just out of school or whatever, I'm like, if I see a shortcut to something, or I feel like there's a shot that's gonna be missed and I'm gonna have to put on a wig and remember my lines, in a year to reshoot it, or there's a gel that's falling off and I know it's because it's not heat resistant, because I have that like brain where I know everything. I don't do everything with it, but I like, the info I dump, I aspirate on my own info dump. So what I do is I tell everybody, when you see me do this, that means that's my blinker, I'm about to veer into somebody's lane where I don't belong. If I point to you and go like this and you go, I can't hear it right now, I'm busy, it's inappropriate, because I need to know, because I'm on many a spectrum, and a lot of it, sometimes I don't read. I don't read, no, it's not how I focus, and they say, no, because if they say, yes, tell me, or don't tell me, I can focus back in. But if it's like hanging out there, like that one jumble that I couldn't figure out in the morning in the newspaper and it like sticks in my head, it kind of screws me up. So sometimes I just have to get out all the things, or write them down so I can concentrate on it. But then when I do, sometimes I over-concentrate. Actors are all different kinds of, I am not the person that goes home and is like, I'm still that character. No, I was like, I can't. I probably should be more of that, I don't do that. But that's a good question. I have trouble with my concentration, so it's always been weird, but when I know other people are depending on me, like I was good at concentrating with being a mom, and do it in that kind of stuff. So if I'm on this set and another actor, we're depending and doing a thing. I mean, if you ask Steve Weber, he'll say that's bullshit. That I was very, very distracting, because he's as funny as anybody you've ever met. That guy from Wings.
I love it. And I love you, and thank you for being here.
Hey, did you get my order? Did you get a tuna sandwich?
I got your tuna sandwich. Tuna sandwich. And we have something else for you from Performing Arts Studio West. And
Go ahead.
The Biz.
What is it, car?
We
Is it
have
a car?
A little,
Do I get a car?
There we go. Here she comes.
Here she comes. Walking down the street.
There she
Shanice, darling. Thank you so much.
That is our book that has over 100 models with disabilities in that book. It's a reinterpretation of traditional Mother Goose nursery rhymes, and it's now yours.
And it's mine.
Yes.
Thank you. You can open a picture. Let me see.
Oh, her picture's in there, yeah.
Okay. Will you sign it? Put your
You want to
autograph
sign
on
it?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? And you can say yes or whatever. How do you feel about a hug? Yes. That's all right. Yes? Okay, thank you. Yes.
Everyone, Amy Yasbeck!
Thank you.
And thank you.
I want to thank everyone for coming. It's a very special event, and I want to thank the Ritter family for the years and years and all the thought and heart behind all of this.
All of you lovely, kind people have come tonight to support something, the opening of the heart, the beautiful expansion of how life and heart can be so connected and so gifting.
We can prevent every single one of those dissections if we know who's at risk. And so you being here is really helping to save lives, because we can prevent those dissections and we will get there.